Alrighty, so just as I finished the review for match week number 27, in fact, at I'm speaking, that video is actually uploaded on my YouTube channel, though I'm gonna have to stop uploading that video and upload this video that I am recording right now after I finish recording this, is that there is some breaking news coming out of Portland, as the Portland Timbers have announced they have fired their head coach Giovanni Savarese after 6.5 season. Now, as much as some might think this is a surprising move for the Timbers to pull their trigger to fire their head coach, if you're a Timbers fan, I think a lot of them saw this one coming. I mean, as much as Savarese has done so much for this Timbers team, and I'll definitely go over some of the good things that he has done for the Timbers. I mean, this last couple of games, and really this last year and a half, it's been stale for him doing his time. It feels like it's kind of like a slowing, dying death of the fact that eventually this day was going to come where the Timbers eventually would have to make the decision to fire their head coach, and especially after the last game too. I think the last game against the Houston Dynamo, that was kind of the last straw with the way that the team was so uninspiring coming out of the gate. 3-0 down after just 13 minutes, down 4-0 at halftime, and you can clearly see the players were not playing for him. It just feels like the writing was on the wall and that they just have to move on from him. But still, I can also see why some people are surprised by this move. I mean, I would say that, I was kind of expecting the fact that the Timbers would give him the rest of the season. And, as I said before, it feels like Sam Reese always gets this team kind of motivate for the latter part of the season. And while yes, this game against the Houston Dynamo, they play very badly, but knowing the fact that they do have that Cascadia derby against Seattle, if they do win that game, then we could see something similar to last year where they were in a bad run of form heading into that Cascadia derby. They got that big Cascadia derby win, and they went on a run and just fall short on the final day. But apparently that doesn't seem like is how this front office viewed. They feel like they're moving on to a different direction, and now it's kind of interesting to see what they do now, because now that they I'm assuming, with an interim head coach, it will at least give some boost in terms of the team. We have seen it before where when an interim head coach step in and at least give some boost to the team, get some resort in their way. Although, don't ask Toronto and Miami about that, because it hasn't really kind of worked out for them, and they desperately need it if they want to keep themselves in the playoff race. And it's especially, I still think that this doesn't change the fact that that Cascadia Derby game against Seattle is still going to be really important. That game really decided the season, not only for the Timbers but also for Seattle, to of who's going to win that derby and then go on an incredible run to try to make it to the playoffs. But in long term, when you look at this team, it's still interesting to see what kind of direction they have. Because when you look at the pieces, there are definitely pieces that I think this team can be good. I mean, when you look on the attacking end, yes, this season has been very, very underwhelming, but there are definitely pieces to build up. I think Evander, he's been having an underwhelming season, but I think you can give him a pass knowing that this is just an example of a player trying to settle in the league and basically trying to get things uh, put together before becoming bona fide star. Frank Boley has been incredible for this team on the attacking end, but there's also some question in terms of them maybe have to rebuild the squad a little bit, especially on the defensive end to end the goalkeeping situation. I mean, Ivicic and Bingham. Bingham has been good for this team, but he's not been a guy that you could say that he could really get this team back to the level where Steve Clark was between the stick with this Timbers team. And then Ivicic has been very up and down this season, and mostly down, I would say, for him. But yeah, it's a very interesting situation that the Timbers now find themselves in. I mean, in some way, even if they do make it to the playoffs, I don't think they're going to do much in the playoffs. This team does not look like a team that it could go on a deep run. But that being said, as much as there are definitely a lot of question with this team and what they will do, and especially who is going to be their next head coach. I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of people that's going to throw in the hat of Caleb Porter potentially making his return for the Portland Timbers. I don't know. I think his doing the latter latter year or the last season for Caleb Porter, it feels like he kind of burned that bridge and he's not gonna come back. But there's definitely some interesting candidate that is gonna be there. But one thing for sure is that no, I think the job that Savarese have done for the Timbers, it's been incredible. I mean, it's very unfortunate that he didn't win an MLS Cup for them. I mean, he did get this team to two MLS Cup, both in 2018 and in 2021. Probably should have won one in 2021 because the one they won in 18, or the one that they were in 18, it was unfortunate that they of course play against Atlanta United and run into an Atlanta United team that looks like it was destined to win MLS Cup. Well, the 2021 one is gonna hurt with the way that they look like they were the favorites, especially in front of their home fan against NYCFC and losing that one. But still, one other thing that Savarese did achieve, and this is the thing that he can definitely proudly say that no head coach will ever win, the MLS's back term, and I will never forget of him guiding this Timbers team to win the one and only MLS's back term, and doing his time with the Timbers, he's done well too. I mean, he's been getting this team multiple time in the playoffs, and he's also built that mentality that he's been able to get this team deep into the playoff run. But like I said, these last year or two, it's kind of run his course mostly with his tactics. I mean, the tactics that he's been using, which is kind of a tactics where they likes to go on the transitional play. It works well in terms of the old court of players, but with those quarter players being either retired or moved on, and the fact that teams are starting to figure out how to play against this Timbers side, and Savarese hasn't really adjusted his tactics relatively well. You kind of have to state right now that the Timbers find themselves in, and like I said, this season and really last season too, you kind of had a sense that maybe things Savarese time might come to an end, but really this season really amplified it with how bad of a run that this team has been, and especially that 5-0 resort against Houston. I mean, I would say that I feel like anytime when you have a head coach that is being fired, it's usually coming off with a result where the team just kind of stopped playing for the manager and just kind of flat out quit. And I kind of saw that with the Timbers in that first half against Houston. So yeah, overall, let me know in the comments below what do you think of this. This is definitely one of the firing that is going to make some big news, especially with the name of Giovanni Savarese being with the Timbers for a very long time. And it's also going to be interesting to see who is going to try to pick him up because as much as Savarese has kind of run his course in the last year and a half, I think there's going to be teams that's going to trying to get him. He's been proven that he's been able to. If you are giving a decent amount of team, he's going to be proven to trying to get the team deep into the playoffs. So I won't be surprised that for these teams that are still looking for their head coach, and that I think Toronto might be a good example of it. Don't be surprised if he might end up being there, knowing that he's gonna have a front office that will give him the tools to use it. But I won't be surprised. This won't be the last time we're gonna see Savarese uh, potentially coaching in MLS. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you're a Timbers fan. What do you think of this news? What do you think is gonna happen? I mean, is this going to really change the fact that this team can get themselves into playoff contention? And even if they do make it to the playoffs, I mean, overall term view, long term outlook of this team. What is this team going to look? How are they going to do in this off season? And also let me know in the comments below if the front office. Some of the members in this front office might be under heat too, because as much as Savarese has kind of run his course with the Timbers, don't forget about the front office too. I mean, this Timbers front office, they have had some duds in terms of some of the signings that have made, and I think there could be some pressure in this front office. And not to mention, let's not forget they also are just coming out of a year where they had this such a controversial scandal that's gone on for their team, and that yeah, this it should be interesting to see that maybe Savarese might not be the only person on this staff that could be fired in the future, and that there could be some members in the front office that could be under pressure. But let me know in the comments below what do you think of this video, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like. And also, by the way, you know how I already did the review. When I did this review, I think this was just announced. So whatever I said in that game between the Timbers and the Houston Dynamo, it's gonna be kind of awkward because it's literally gonna be like I think in that video I talked about how maybe Savarese can still this team to the playoffs, and yeah, that doesn't seem like it's gonna happen with him being fired from the Timbers. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys do like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.